Welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Today we're going to talk about how I overcame my injuries on the court, my personal struggle, and what I learned from that. Without further ado, let's get to it. All right, so for me, uh, as I said before, I had two stress fractures in my shins. I had shin splints really bad, throughout high school. Never paid any mind to it. I just, thought it was shin splints. I didn't um, attend to them or do any type of special exercises for them or anything. I just kept playing, and I went to college, and there is when I broke my leg. And for me, when I went to that college, I was just grinding, coming from prep school. Nobody wanted me. This school was a JUCO out in Cali in the desert in the middle of nowhere. I didn't really want to be there, but that was my chance to play basketball, so I went there. And unfortunately, I broke my leg, and I kept playing on it 4 to 5 months, and finally got an X-ray, got the results back, and had a stress fracture in my leg. I couldn't play. I had to redshirt. I did an injury redshirt, so I saved my freshman year, but I didn't get to play. And one of our other guards that was there, he actually played that year. They recruited another player, another point guard. He came and played that year, and I just, sat the bench and watched. And for me, my mindset, my attitude was terrible. I started failing my classes. I started having a really bad attitude towards my teammates, towards everybody. Really, I just didn't really care about anybody's feelings. I was labeled an asshole and all that. But truthfully, I was just being 100%. I didn't have no filter. But me not having no filter came from me not being able to play, right? So I had a very bad attitude. I didn't handle it well. I didn't gain any weight or anything like that. I didn't develop any bad habits other than my attitude and my mindset. It was to everybody, you know what I mean? And yeah, man, I was upset watching other people play. I didn't get to play. Um, Watching them lose hurt the most because there were times in games where I felt that if I was on the court, I would have been able to make a way bigger difference than who was playing. Not to say like who was playing wasn't good enough. It's just I wanted to help my team. You know what I mean? So for me, I didn't handle it very well. Year two comes, and I find out that my other leg is broken, or not broken, but fractured in the exact same fracture in the exact same spot. And this year, I was supposed to play. I've been sitting on the sidelines all last year, just watching everybody play. I tried to pass my classes as best I could. I failed one of my history classes, and this year I was thinking I was gonna play, but then my leg was messed up too. So I ended up sitting out again. I couldn't redshirt this time, so I played 1 or 2 games and then I just sat out. And actually, I think I played like 2 or 3 games. We played against really good competition, West LA, East LA. I think those are the only 2 games I played. Really, I played in 2 tournaments. So other than that, I didn't really play. And yeah, my legs were very, very much in pain. I did not take care of my body. My coaches kept trying to make me take ice baths and do any type of therapy, and I wasn't going for it. My attitude was terrible. Still, this is 2 years in a row. My attitude is very bad. Um, I ended up meeting my wife. At the time, obviously, she wasn't my wife, but I ended up meeting her, and we moved in together. And I started to become isolated away from my teammates. And I really didn't hang out with them. I didn't really talk to them. The only time I seen my teammates is when I went to practice. They didn't come over my house. I didn't go over their house. You know, I was isolated. I was in a bad space because I couldn't play again. I didn't heal again. And it was when I met my wife that my mindset started to change. She started to show me different exercises, and she first showed me mobility, and I fell in love with that. And I started to do that, and I became like the new personal trainer on the team. Like anytime someone had an injury or any type of pain, I would, try to help them. And I wasn't completely healthy myself, but I was trying to get to that level. I was feeling better. My body was feeling better. My mindset was a little bit better. I was there for my teammates. I was still, uh, how do you say? I was still unfiltered. I just wasn't as rude about it. So now I started to, lead the stretches. Anytime anyone had any pain or any type of injuries, they would come to me because I was dealing with, two broke legs. So to see me being able to play still, obviously I'm doing something to where my body can still function. Mind you, the first year um, they came out, Paul George came out and had directly make a documentary about us. That's another reason why I was upset, because I didn't get to be in that documentary. If you watch that documentary, I'm always gone. Like the only time you see me is they recorded me at the bus stop and you see me like in the stands. I purposely wasn't on camera because I didn't play. That's how messed up my mind was. So, back to year two, I'm getting better. I'm still failing my classes, by the way, because I didn't like school. Once I found that I couldn't play, I literally failed my classes on purpose so that I couldn't play. So that bad mentality started to come back to me. My attitude was so bad that one of the games, my last game, I got ejected because the ref because my legs were messed up, I had to wear a specific like leg sleeve, and one of them had tights on. The one leg was longer than the other, but I still had sleeves on both legs, and the ref wasn't trying to let me wear them. So that game, it was very frustrating in that game because I had to keep pulling up the leg sleeve. It was too big, and so the next game, that was the game I got ejected, and they called an offensive foul on me on a handoff. Like I did a handoff, I fell because the dude ran me over, and they called an offensive foul on me. So I get up and I turn around and I see that it's the same ref, with the ball. So I walk up, what I'm saying, I let him know what's on my mind, and I smack the ball out of his hand, and and he ejected me. And come to find out later on, I went back and watched the film. He didn't even call that charge. It was the other ref. He gave him the ball and ran to the other side. So by the time I got up, I just seen him. So I say all this to say I did not deal with injury well at all. Um, I actually didn't deal with injury until maybe a year or two after I quit basketball and COVID hit. I quit. I came out to Vegas and I just was like, whatever, I'm never going to play basketball again. I'm just going to focus on my body. And that's when I became just obsessed with the body. And I started learning the anatomy, like every single muscle, every single ligament, everything. And I finally found what would heal my leg. And so I did that. And that's all I did every day. First thing I do when I wake up, I work on my body from my toes, literally my toes up, to my entire upper body. I would start at my toes, my ankles, my shins, my calves, my quads, my knee, like everything on the way up. I would build myself up. And then after I did that, I'd go on a run and, I'd come back, stretch, and I'd work out. At this time, I'm only eating fruits and vegetables. And my diet was really clean. My mindset was there. And, about a year of doing that, my shin pain was completely gone. And I played basketball. One of my friends invited me to go play basketball, and we played one on one. And yeah, that was the first time I played basketball in a year. And so
3 hours later.
I had no pain in my legs at all. And so I kept playing basketball. And over the years, the amount of times I played increased. And last year and this year have been the most time that I've played um, since I was in college, right? I'm getting invited to men's league games. I'm getting invited to workout sessions in the AM. Um, I'm just working out on my own. I'm posting videos on here. So I've overcome the mindset of being injured. I watched a lot of people when they get injured, they either eat, uh, they become like how I was, just out of it, completely gone, just depressed, and it's just f everybody. The world is your enemy. And the one thing I learned is that attitude through injury is the most important thing. You know what I mean? Regardless of what you injure, your body will heal itself. And during that healing process, you have to mentally be strong enough to realize that you will be back, and not back to where you were, but you will be better than you were. And if you have that mindset, then you can overcome any injury. It doesn't matter what it is. I literally had stress fractures in my legs. I believe that I can become better than I ever was because now that will never happen to me again. That'll be something that'll never hold me back. My shins are stronger than they've ever been. The muscle that protects my shin is the tibialis anterior, which protects everybody's shins. But that muscle on my legs is very strong now. It's resilient. I've built it up that way. I've worked on it for the past 4 or 5 years. So I'm not going to injure my shins again. I take care of my knees. I take care of my back, take care of my neck. Like I take care of my body to where I'm not going to get injured and not be able to play basketball again. I exercise for injury prevention. I don't exercise just to get big and, what I'm saying, look strong. I want to actually be strong. And to be strong and be resilient is how you last longer in basketball. It don't matter how physically built you look. You can look amazing, but your ligaments and your joints have no protection. They have no resilience. You haven't trained your body to be in those stressed out positions that we play in basketball. Like I became obsessed with only training for basketball, um, to the point where I even started to cross train with track and boxing. And those are two sports that go well with basketball. So, that was another lesson I learned. One was to have a strong mental attitude no matter what you're going through, whether it be injury. You can't go to a school that you want to go to or coaches, whatever it is, whatever you're dealing with on the court, your attitude is the most important thing. Number two, cross training. If we cross train with specific sports like sprinting and boxing, sprinting because obviously we're running all the time, and boxing, the endurance that we have to, that was crazy, the endurance that we have to go through, and the reps, the mindset of boxing is high reps. Everything is high reps, and basketball needs to be high reps. You have to practice just like you would if you were in a game. In boxing, you have to have a very broad imagination, very vivid imagination, because if you just punch in the bag and you don't see your opponent, you're gonna get in that ring and get whooped, just like in basketball. If you just going through the motions and you don't actually see what's in front of you, you're gonna get in the game and freeze up, or it's not gonna work, or it's not gonna be fast enough. So, just make sure no matter what you go through, you keep your mind sharp and you cross train. If one part of your body is injured, then work on other parts until that area can be strengthened. If you got bad knees, you need to work on what stabilizes your knee, your adductors, your hamstrings, your calves, your tibialis. Work on everything around your knee, and now you bulletproof your knees. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with everything in your body. You have to work out the areas that protect that little muscle. In basketball, we use all of our big muscles, and all the small ones they get neglected. So when you exercise, you got to make sure you do that. And that was just what works for me. And, what I've learned, I believe it'll work for anyone else as well. So, with that being said, y'all just keep y'all heads high, stay motivated, and there's plenty more to come. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all next time.